Hello, and thank you for tuning in to CAM. This is a long-awaited interview. I know you all have been waiting. We had a couple of hiccups, but we knew we were going to get this interview done. And I am so thankful, I'm so elated to have the person that you're going to get introduced. She really needs no introduction. She is what I would define as a trendsetter, a game changer, and most of all, she is a survivor. And I want you to just sit back, relax, call your friends, tell them to tap in, because this is going to be an interview of a lifetime. And I am so happy to have my friend, Deborah M Jackson, on the set of CAM. And so we're going to go deep, and she's going to tell her story, because it's her story. Welcome, Deborah. How you doing?
I'm doing fine, Pastor Triplet.
You look like you're doing well. So tell us a little bit about Deborah Moore, the beginning, where you're from, your siblings, and things like that.
Well, first of all, I was born here in Bremerton, Washington in 1958.
Okay.
And I'm not ashamed of my age because I look, damn good.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, I come from a family of 13 kids, 12 different daddies. Pimps, hoes, prostitutes, all that running the family, hustling, always being surviving,
Right.
being in survival mode. So coming from that type of background and always being a mother since the age of 5, taking care of my siblings, being responsible for them, even if I wasn't the oldest.
Right.
But I always was that one of the main caretaker. So, yes, being here, being raised with my brothers and them, and I remember when we were little, in kindergarten, we lived on Cambridge. And back in those days on South Cambridge, that was a lovely, beautiful neighborhood.
Right.
And so we used to go ahead and pick people's flowers, me and my brother Tony and my other brother Ray, and we pick flowers and we make bouquets out of them. And would go back and sell them back to the neighbors. I think they knew, but it was so many of them, and our parents would be out there,
Right.
Gone, down at the 7-Eleven Club,
Yeah.
around Burwell. Coffee House Oasis is in there
Oh,
now.
okay.
That was one of our first black clubs, and James Brown used to perform there. But anyway, nevertheless, is they when they didn't come home, we had to survive and fend for one another, and so we would run to the bakery and get them sweetie pies. Oh, I can't stand them. But they went far, and they were big enough. Remember they were yellow and chocolate.
Oh, okay.
And so with the marshmallows in the middle, and we could cut them in half, and they would go further.
Oh, okay.
And kids, we always talk about sweets and not no food.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what, surviving, taking care of them, coming from that type of background. Being 8 of us in the bed, 4 at the top, 4 at the bottom.
Wow.
I remember my brother Ray was telling his family over in Seattle that didn't know us all that well over here. You don't know what we went through when we were coming up.
Right.
We had to be 8 in the bed, 4 at the bottom, and 4 at the top. They was doing Jerry's funeral. This is what,
Right.
And he was really upset at him about it because they didn't know our story.
Right.
They didn't know our story when his mother was shot and killed. Up here on right across the street, the Norm Sticks building,
Right.
on 6th Street. So, coming up as children, we've been through a lot. We've seen a lot of young kids when they were conceived right there in front of us. I think back then, the parents, sex and partying was a way of relieving themselves from what they were dealing with the white man.
Okay.
Back, then.
Yeah. Right.
So, so that was their way of life to release themselves. To have comfort, you know what I'm saying, to relieve that pressure, and was that all the time.
A question I got for you, Deborah. You exude a lot of confidence, and we're talking about being built to survive. Where did that come from? How did that manifest in your life?
Well, how it manifested in my life. When you come from a family of 13 kids, 12 different daddies, and when you're in this community, in this black community, we weren't good enough to be in one of the main black organizations because who we came from, and then some of us was related to some in there. Was the little illegitimate children.
Right.
So by I think being branded, labeled, and people made up stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And the stuff that my mother did we had to succumb that. I mean, that was put on us and labeled on us. This is why my other siblings don't live here to this day. And they can't understand why I still live here and be persecuted. And then some people don't even understand that's why so-and-so don't like me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They just picked up that behavior and carried it on and let it fester in them and don't even know the real story or the whole truth or don't even know the real reason behind that. So that thing, by doing that and still keep going on and lying about my age to get a job, to make sure my sisters and brothers have birthdays and Christmases.
Right.
You know, I think that's where that all manifested. I had to still keep going. My passion to survive, and for me and my sisters and brothers as coming out, making sure they had a Christmas. You know, I was only 14 and 15 and went to work graveyard at a nursing home.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? To make sure they had a Christmas.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? To make sure they had a birthday. You know, make sure they had tennis shoes planned for Chico and Warren Avenue Playfield, you know, with them. So I think all that, you know, really stems from being branded, labeled, you know, you're never good enough for this, never good enough for that.
Right.
But I think by having the Bremerton Police Department, Officer Terry Wellings, which is my heart, and Mr. Lane Down, my teacher, and then Judge Kenneth Lewis. By them being my support system and kind of, I think, they inspired me and they believed in me. Even if I still kept doing the most.
Right.
And I still kept doing the most. Judge Kenneth Lewis just always say to me, why don't you go and do something with yourself? And just let me get away. He saw the potentials in me. And so did when I became the mascot for West High School. And then I was crowned Miss Spirit. They did not want me. Mr. Lane Dow, he fought tooth and nails. And he said, Deborah, you used to go in that office and you used to put your hands on the hips and tell them little men. And it'd just be us big, tall men in there and them in there. And you'd be the only one. But you weren't intimidated. So I guess that was building character, building survival, because I've always been in survival mode. And it never left me because I had to survive, and I couldn't think of myself, you know, because I had to think of my siblings. You know, taking care of them.
When you're in the survival mode, what's Deborah's more mindset? Because I want to make sure you people understand so they can understand what it takes. When you're in that mode, because you just said I'm always in survival mode. What's your mentality when you're in that mode?
When I'm in that, let me give you an example. Like, some people wake up to do things to me, and they work at it. So to me, I stay in survival mode, and when I get up every morning, I be ready for what's finna hit me. Every morning I have to be prepared. I used to talk to Bishop about this, you know, Bishop Robertson. And so they might not know, but, you know, I used to talk to him about it, how I'm always in survival mode, you know, because people are always mimicking what I'm doing or doing something to attack me, and I don't know why, because I'm so busy giving back and working in the community. You know what I'm saying? Can I give you some examples?
Sure.
Let me give you examples. There's programs that I wrote, you know, and one by sorority sister down in Portland. Her and I had, I went down to support her as she was working. And then she brought the program and said, we can do it up here and get the contract. Well, one of our big agencies here, one of our biggest agencies here, and I was living with Mary, and I was homeless. And no one didn't know. And I was homeless. So I wrote this program on Mary's computer, so they were trying to get me in to become a state contractor. So as I was, and to hook me up, I'm gonna say his name, OJ. And he was over one of the big programs at KCR. And then so I was supposed to, he asked me, well, just write a program, and he was gonna get me in, help me get a contract. I came back with my master's degree, you know, went back to school and received 3 degrees in 3 years. And so anyway, we were going to, I wrote this program, so here it is, me and my sorority sister, we go over to the state, you know, to get the contract, because I just brought her in to work with me, you know what I'm saying? And then so, not to be a part of the organization, but just to work with me. So anyway, when we went over there, the lady looked at us over there, you know, in Tacoma, over at the contractors for the state, and she looked at me, Region 10, and then she goes, I have a different contract for you. We've already paid for that, what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, I wrote that program. Well, she ended up paying $340,000 for that program. And OJ took it over there and got the contract and used it at KCR.
And you were homeless when you did it?
Yeah, I was homeless.
Wow.
Yeah, I was homeless. No one ever know. The first 5 years of Survive and Change, I was homeless.
Wow.
I started Survive and Change in the back of my car.
Wow.
And then when I opened up the office, I started, I had 8 chairs, 4 on one side, 4 on the other,
Mm-hmm.
and then my mink coat and 4 pillows, and then the TV.
Right.
And that's how I got several of the Samoan community kids to graduate and several other young people, and I started it.
Wow. Wow.
Yes.
So Deborah, you know that you are a leader in this community. You know people look up to you, and you know that people look at you as a role model. What is it that people get right about you as a leader, and what is it they get wrong about you, and do you care?
First and foremost, at first I did used to care.
Right.
And then
you did used to care.
I did used to, but thank you, Jesus, my higher power. I really don't think they look up to me as a leader. Now I'm talking about other leaders.
Okay.
Now I do have to say the people that I work with and help in the community, they do look up to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I do have to say, this new generation of organizations that are out there, I have to, that I just honored.
Right.
I have to say, I believe they do, because they know how much I love them so much and support them. But as far as the old timers and the old timer organizations, they don't look, I think they feel inferior, jealous, and let's use the word envious. You know what I'm saying? Because I can name several of them that took some of my programs and came to my office and took pictures of the board. Next one I know, they started theirs.
Okay.
No, I'm serious.
No, I know you.
In my book, yeah, names who they are. Seriously. So, no, I don't care anymore. And I really don't. I wish I could really name names today, but it would take away from my book.
Well, what is it that people get right about you? And even though I know you said you care,
well,
what is it
I think what they get right
wrong
about
about you?
What I can say what they do right about me. Wrong, let's talk about wrong first.
Okay.
What they get wrong about me is they really don't know me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They prejudge me, and you can't go by what you look. Let me tell you something. What hurt me, and this is what, I've had people call me on the phone and tell me they made something up on me at 2 in the morning, and they're sticking to it, and that's their word.
Right.
And then I would say a few choice words. Why would you say that?
Right.
Lie on me, and they would run with it and tell other people, even went to my family, and it wasn't true.
Right.
So I'll never forget January 1st of this year, I was sick and going through something, and which I, shared,
Right.
with my friend Tina about my son, and how I was sick. My son's, my ex-husband, he was had real surgery on his back, and how they were making up this lie, and it was hard for me to get well and then deal with my son's suicide.
Right.
What he was going through. And how this person, how people, they misjudge me, they make up stuff. I just don't get that.
Right.
But I'm hoping I'm staying on track here. Is that making up stuff? They don't really know me inside, so people get up and make up things on me.
Right.
That's what they get wrong. They never get to know who I really am.
Gotcha.
And I'm a person that I love people. Like, for example, the homeless people. Do I see them as homeless? No.
Right.
You know what I see them as? And I tell my staff, I tell anybody, I see them as it was somebody's baby, somebody's child that used to blow on their stomach, bite on their feet.
Right,
You know
right,
what I'm saying?
right.
That's what I see them in, and they just they took a different journey.
Yeah.
And they still have skills, and that's why I created Survive and Change, you know what I'm saying? And it still works. Survive and Change always change out employees with the contracts, or change out volunteers.
Right.
We give job skills. We encourage individuals. We build
Right.
character.
And the fact that you were homeless, you have that experience
Yes.
that most people wouldn't even know what it's like.
Yes, I've been homeless. I've been raped. I've been child molested.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Yes, all that.
Man, you're a serious survivor now.
You know what I'm saying? Gone through that. and then I moved away from it, sold drugs. You know what I'm saying?
How did you keep your mindset good after just naming all the things that you've gone through? How did you, I know your faith in God, I know that.
Yeah.
But how did you make it every day surviving and all those things happening?
I don't know, when people do something negative towards me or something that comes, it's like an addiction. It just gives me power, strength to go on. This is not me, and I'll shake it off, and I'll sit back and listen to one of my songs, you know, encourage yourself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And Love's in Need of Love. You know, that's one of my songs. I sit back and meditate, you know, and Gladys Knight. The best thing that I have to do, that's my love song to my higher power.
Right. Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? And I listen to that all the time.
Yeah.
You know, if anybody should write my, you know, life story, you know what I'm saying? Let it be him. You know what I'm saying? Because he knows the true story of my walk.
Right. Because
You know,
I just can't see how most people could survive some of the things that you said, you know, and the story that you have to tell.
Well, I survived a lot of things also, and a lot of people don't believe what they get around me, that I don't hurt.
That's good.
You know what I'm saying? I was always by my mentor.
But Deborah, we see you as so strong, though. That's the.
Yeah, they don't think that I hurt, but I do. You know, and then I'm sensitive, and that I have a passion for love. I love to love. Yes, I have a temper, and I can be a pistol.
Right.
Believe that. You know what I'm saying? But I still can be mad with you and upset with you and work with you.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And I'll be that. But I think they don't get that. I could think they don't see that, or they don't want to see it, because I just believe you wouldn't get up and pull the stuff that you do against me to make me have to keep my whole armor of God on.
Right.
And then that shield on.
Yeah.
You know, because you never know. I swing solo.
Right.
Definitely. You know, I believe I'm just like Deputy Shard used to tell me, and Susan Dreyfus, you know, down in Olympia, that I'm a maverick of Kitsap County. And then now the gang members, ex-gang members, and all them call me, they tell me on the, what do you call it, the godmother of the streets. I said I am. And then they come from different gangs. They said, you know, you the godmother of the streets. I said I am. I didn't even know. And everybody knows. I think a lot of people come and gravitate towards me and everything because I can be fussing and cussing. You know what I'm saying? But I'm still gonna help you. They just can't believe it. We still gonna get it done. I've been saying I got. Come on, let's go, because we gotta get this done. They're not, but you know, I'm always encouraging and building character. But shit, excuse me, but you know.
No.
But yes, definitely. I'd like to see everybody. I believe this one person said, a dear friend of mine, Lolita. She had stated, she was, Deborah, if we had somebody like you in our life, we would never have went to the school of hard knocks.
Wow.
You know, and that is so true. If we were accepted, because the ones who had single mothers, you know, single mothers and a lot of kids, or sometimes if you just had a lot of kids and you had a husband and wife, you weren't in this category. It was categories. You know, we couldn't belong to certain groups. And then the parents would be, I'm telling you, I've been going through this all my life. We would come into the house parties. And then the mothers, be like 4 or 5 of them, the chaperones, you know what I'm saying, the party be in the back. And you could catch them as I'm walking through. There she is, Sherry Mo's daughter, whispering. Yeah, and it was our leaders. Yes. Yeah, and I think that's I think that's what made me be in survival. I'm not gonna be like mama. You know what I'm saying? My sister said the same thing. We ain't finna have all them kids. You know what I'm saying? And then one thing that was so hurtful, put me in survival mode too, when a rumor came out that I couldn't have any children. That was, I'm telling you, so, and then everybody ran to EAC. That was in Bremerton to get saved because I'm pregnant. The Lord, they gotta bring, I mean, you know what I'm saying? That I even had, when I was pregnant, people come up and stop me, and it was called a Thriftway out there where the health department is, the health out there in Kitsap Way, and wanted me to pull up my dress, and I'm with my husband at that time, to see if I was really pregnant. I even had people come into the hospital. Come into the hospital. Oh, I just came by to see if it was real. You had a baby. And even my best friend at that time believed that.
Right.
And you imagine stuff is always being said. So did I have to always stay in survival mode? Did I always have to have tough skin?
Right.
Did I always have to be fighting? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I've been fighting all my life.
Right. Right.
You know, all my life, you know, for the stuff that my mother did. Why did we have to endure that?
Right. Yeah.
But that's what our black community did.
Yeah.
And then, so I have to say, they built this character and this person,
Right.
you know, that to survive.
Right. You were maturated that way. And
Yes.
one of the things I want to ask you about too that inspires me every year, your program that you just did, the African American
Oh,
Achievement.
yes.
I've been in Birmingham 30 years, and you've been doing it what 10?
10 years.
I have not seen 1 year that it was not successful, that it was not well attended, and it just seems to motivate. I want to say kids up kind. How do you do that each year?
You know what? It's a passion in my heart. I think people need recognition, and I be saying, oh, so and so needs to be honored. And I always listen to God and wait for Him to give me, you know, clarity and vision. I always like I'll tell my team I haven't heard from Him yet.
Right.
He hasn't given me nothing yet, but I hope I'm answering your question correctly. And you had asked me, say that question again.
Yeah, I was talking about the successfulness of your achievement awards.
I think
and I haven't seen 1 year where it wasn't well attended and where people didn't come out inspired, posted on Facebook. Oh God, Miss Deborah did it again.
I think it's
how
hard
do you
work.
do it each year? That's what I'm saying.
I think hard work, and I still think some people that I get, for example, that they know how I am. And the fight with me,
Right.
and then we still keep going.
Right.
You know, how do I keep going every year? So many people put so many barriers and obstacles in my way, and I believe I just have to prove them wrong. It's just instilled in me, and I hope I'm answering this correctly. And then I'm passionate about who I'm honoring and what I feel in my heart.
Right. Right.
And I want to do the best and to show them off and to bring them out and let them know I see you.
Wow.
And I want them to be seen.
Yes.
And recognized and for people to notice them. You know, and we've been, and let the state know, our people have been doing great things for many, we built this state. We made it the great state that it is. You know, and so that's one reason that motivates me to keep going, because we need to be seen, we need to be showed up. Not those who just have a title, doctor, lawyer.
Wow.
There's
I'm glad
other of
you
us
said
that makes
because
this community up.
what I saw with this last achievement award, I like how it was like there was a passing of the baton.
Yes.
To the next generation of leaders.
Yes.
So I commend you for doing that, because so long, you know, we feel like, and I don't know if we haven't got our needs met, but you know, you have to know when your time is passed and it's time to pass the baton on. So thank you for earning that group of people.
And you know something, and that was one of my messages, to pass the baton, because I want to move on. You know, I talk about this openly so much. I'd like to pass it on to Nikki Houston, Surviving Change, and to Kenesha Lewis. There was others that I had built, but they moved on in a different area.
Right.
But I just felt like the Lord has told me they would still keep it going.
Will you be in the background?
I would be in the background, yes, because I would still have to guide them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And let them, you know, take over. And that's one of my goals. But the other thing was too, if anybody saw the video, it was to let those know we did not just arrive. You understand? If they got the message of the legacy video,
right,
we did not just arrive. And to let all those new young people, the next generation, know these are the shoulders that you are standing on that opened the door. And look at Mr. and Mrs. Ross. They didn't have a title, but they was out there fighting the fight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Mr. Loxie Higgins, you know, Mr. Crutcher, Calvin Colvin.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? These individuals, they did become councilmen, you know, Calvin and Marty Crutcher. But before, they didn't have no titles.
Right.
You know, these were everyday people that opened the door and made a way for us. You know, I mean, I look at how Bishop came here, and it took him, and we always talked about this, 19 years to get recognition from the powers that be.
Yeah.
19 years. We used to always talk about, because I used to tell him, well, I don't want to be waiting no 19 years like you. Me and him used to be sitting in the car talking about that. I ain't finna wait no 19 years. Lord behold, it was 20.
Yeah.
It was 20 years. They'll do stuff to you, you know.
Yeah.
And I do have to say that I believe I represent individuals who come from where I come from, have similar backgrounds as me.
Right.
And then I don't judge them. And then I think I'm more supportive. You know, and I like to support every organization.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I might not work with them all, but I'm going to support them. If they need me to do something and I like to be out front, I'm going to do 110%, even if I don't care for you.
Right. What can someone do to you as a person who's supposed to survive? And I know as Christians and believe in God, we're supposed to forgive. But a person who is a survivor, if somebody does something to you and it really rubs you the wrong way, do you have a tough time forgiving them?
God is not through with me yet. I'm gonna tell you something. I knew you were gonna come with that question. Hold up. And I said, and I said, how am I gonna answer him? God is not through with me yet.
You and me both.
That's all I can say on that one. You know what I'm saying? But I'll still work with that.
Right, it's a work in progress for you.
Yeah,
You're not saying
yeah.
that you never will forgive, but you're just saying
It's a work in
as
progress.
a survivor, you ain't got there yet.
And I haven't gotten there. But you know, sometimes I sit and have to think to myself, and when I see stuff in me, and then I know I need to forgive. And I'm going to say this. Let's look at somebody I love. For example, I'm sure I can say their name, Toby Wilkins. You know what I'm saying? That's just been my love. She done saved my drill team. When they tried to steal my drill team, I was out of state. I mean, her and DeAndrea Williams was down here to stop that. And then when her and I had a differences, and it was something so small, minute. Renee, my other best friend, will tell you, it killed me inside. For us not to be talking, but she has her ways, I have my ways.
Right.
But I'm gonna tell you something. We just came back together, and I was sharing with Renee how, gosh, I go, Renee, you felt the broken glass breaking loose. I mean, you know, off. I mean, just everything. And I go, damn, I feel so good.
Right.
I could shout. You know what I'm saying? I got to lay in her lap again,
Yeah.
sit on her, you know, make her legs hurting, and I didn't care. I mean, that's how I always acted with her. And that love was just free again.
Wow.
So, you know, yes, and I think I have to want to.
Yeah.
I have to want to, and sometimes I have to keep it real. Sometimes I just want to be mad.
Right. Sometimes you don't want to, right?
Yeah.
Because the Bible, you know, we talk about, you know, you're supposed to give them so the Heavenly Father can forgive us. And even people who do you wrong, some people, you know, we just come out of Easter where it says, Father, forgive them for they know not what to do. Some people know they're doing you wrong.
Yeah, and they know. Because I saw D's on cam about forgiveness.
Yeah.
And I watched that, and I really watched that because I struggle. I'm going to be honest, I struggle with that. I'll still work with you and still help you.
Right.
You know, because I have people do bad things to me.
Right.
And it makes me cry. Because I cried not because what they did. I be crying because I'm upset with myself, and you still help them. And my staff says, why do you still do them? And they did this. Let's look at how KCR tried to kill me for 3 years and make up false accusations saying that I was taking money from landlords during the pandemic. Now, they wasn't getting no money, you know what I'm saying? And the people I'm helping, they had no money.
Right.
They spent 3 years, you know, trying to bring me down through the county and stuff to make up that. Then they came up and said that I was taking money from the tenants. They ain't had nothing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They ain't had nothing, I ain't had nothing. But anyway, to stop me from doing the work. I even had one of the directors tell me, and not the regime it's under now, but during that time, had them tell me, well, Deborah, we don't mind if you just go ahead and drop and do the contract right now. Because they didn't want to work with me. And everything, because I was too passionate and too strong and advocated so hard for the people. You know, I mean, just, you know, stuff like that.
Right.
You know, another thing, and every day something is happening to me, and it really makes me emotional. You know what I'm saying? Because I love helping people. As
Right.
they can tell you now when I go down there, how many times people hug me and thank me, and I tell them it's not me, it's God.
Right. Right.
You know, I might cuss you out today and still help me tomorrow. I tell them that.
I'm glad
yeah.
you said that. So now
Yeah.
I want to segue into this because I know how important it is to you. Tell us just how important your faith in God is to you and for you.
Oh my goodness, I love him. I love him. I love him. My faith. I believe in him. I believe I'm nothing without him. And it's like I told you, he's the best thing that ever happened to me. I'm in love with him. My faith, I believe in him. Sometimes, you know, flesh does get in the way.
Mm-hmm.
But God is my all in all. You know what I'm saying? And he's my everything. And then I'm such a loner. I hang by myself, so that's my ace coon boom.
Right.
That's my Negro. So, and he's my everything. So my faith, I believe in him, and I believe in his word,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe it's a personal relationship, and I believe we're all not going to worship the same.
Mm-hmm.
We're all not going to read the Bible the same,
Mhm.
and sometimes we all understand certain things differently.
Right.
I'm not a judgmental person of that, and I don't want you judging me because I don't do and act and worship like the way you do.
Yeah.
And so my faith, I just believe in God. And I love him. I love him, so I'm nothing. I mean, he saved me from 10 years of prison. And that's what made me believe in
Right.
him.
No, I understand.
That's when I came to God. I had told Bishop, and I told him, I said, well, if God is all that and everything, and I'm about to get this 10 years, if he take this way, I know he's something. It was him and Mr. Abrams.
Right.
Yes. And he did. Heck yeah, I believed in him. God saved, jumped in that pool. Elder Griffin dumped me. You know what I'm saying?
I understand.
I'll never forget that. Yeah, so my faith, I love him so much. And I have to say, he helped me get through so much. Because people do, like, I believe did a few workshops down here.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody doesn't understand all the things that I do in this community.
Right.
You know, I go ahead, like the Lord blessed that John Hornbrook came to me, and I was able to get 30 women jobs, you know, in PSNS, Bangor, and at Keyport, women of color, because they needed to get their stats up
Right.
and hire more women. And that was a blessing, because I get people, other organizations come to me and tell me, why are you fooling with that rental assistance? Well, they don't know we just don't do rental assistance.
Right.
You know, I'm a funeral person.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We get people jobs. We advocate for IEPs, individual education plans at the school, bankruptcies. We help individuals to vacate their criminal records before anybody else started. I've been doing it since 2004. You know, and all around the state, not just in Kitsap County, down in Portland, Spokane.
Wow.
Even helping individuals get their clemency, as you learned. Right, and that's not the only one. We did a case up there, and I always say we, I don't know why, but it's just me. But we might be me and him.
Yeah.
My higher power right with me. Another person got him out of prison early, encouraged that mother, and that mother did the fight for many, many years on her own, just being supportive for that short period of time, you know, with her. And I think that meant a lot to her because we became very, very close.
Wow.
So, I mean, yes, it is so much. You know, you always said being in survival mode, even when I was in Oklahoma, and I do have to share this, the powers that be, I can't think of the man who has his church over in Seattle, but all of our kids are the same age. I think him and Bishop started out at the same time. I used to know his name so well, with the red hair, and used to always be on TV. Anyway, he had opened up a home health agency in Oklahoma, and so did I. And I was a nurse's aide that only had a nursing home down in Oklahoma.
Right.
And those people were so just because we were considered outsiders.
Right.
And I would have people call me up on the phone to threaten me. I really experienced racism. On the phone threatening me. I would hire a spy in my office for them, and they would fraudulent my files, and then the state would come in, we need to look at your files, and I would get cited. I mean, I've always had to enter that people get up working daily to sabotage me or to work and do stuff against me.
Right.
And really, I'm a fun person.
Right.
If you really
you have to
get
go in that survival mode.
yeah, that puts me in that survival mode. I mean, I would even have staff. We gonna call Medicare on you if you don't give us 20,000. Well, you know then, God was not in me.
or you wouldn't let them work with you where you should.
There you go. Yes.
So one of the things I want to do, Deborah, and we're gonna kind of get ready to close this out, but I want you to look into that camera and talk to those who don't feel that they're built to survive. They don't know what to do. They may be at their wits' end. And I want you, who an unapologetically strong African American woman who's gone through all she's gone through, and God has caused her to be built to survive. I want you to look in that camera and talk to those people, men, women, children, or whoever, and tell them what it takes.
Well, first of all, every individual is differently. But to go ahead and survive and to build character, I'm here to support you. Never to give up. Always remember the individuals that's doing things to you or where you're at in your life is no better than you are. You have to get that in mind and find where you belong, where you fit in, and find your purpose. And then learn to love yourself. But I'm going to tell you everything, first you need to fall in love with Jesus. And that's the first and foremost, is to fall in love. Even if you don't read his word and you don't know how to pray, I'm going to tell you, I always told my children, what you need to do is grab that Bible and hug it and hold it and cry out to him. And he'll still comfort you and bring you an answer. And that's what I've always told my kids. If you don't know how to pray and you don't understand the word and everything, just hug that Bible and lay there and cry. And he'll come and comfort you because he knows it's a personal relationship. So, and then call me, because I do help people and everything to help you get to the next level. It's hard, and I'm hard, but I believe in you because of the stuff that I've gone through and that I'm going through every day. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you for tuning in and tapping in to this podcast of CAM. It's been a wonderful conversation with my friend, Deborah M Jackson. And I feel like I'm built to survive just by listening to this great woman. And we hope you continue to tune in. And as Deborah said, if there's things you want to get in contact with her, just give her a call, give her a shout out, and make sure you smile when you talk to her. God bless you.